And if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them. So thank you so much for joining us and being part of our Genius Biofeedback community. This is Dr. Ariel Policano. I teach and train about the genius as well as a number of other frequency and energy topics and technologies, which you'll be hearing more about soon. All right. All right, excellent. Don't worry about this little skinny little line here. You're gonna see everything in just a moment. And I again thank you. You can ask your questions. We're going to talk about the kidneys and the bladder today. We do have a class that's starting. You can still get 40% off on the class. And that class is our money magnet course. So if you want to join in our money magnet course, you can still do that and get a 40% savings on that. All right. So let's just go ahead and get this link in here. Thanks to everybody who's joined our Money Magnet course. We're going to be doing that in just a couple of hours, and it includes several different libraries as well as a specific system for drawing success, prosperity, and abundance to you. So I'm really excited about that. And thank you everybody who's volunteering for a scan. We can get you a scan and talk about that as well. So if you still want to jump in on the course and want to get the 40% discount, if the 40% discount isn't taken automatically, just shoot me a message. We will get you the 40% off on this class. The reason is it's a series of exercises that helps you to transform your energy into an attraction magnet for money, but not just money, for success, relationships. The goals of life are, one of the goals of life is righteousness. In the scriptures, they talk about the 4 goals of life. And one of them is righteousness, dharma, doing the right thing. Of course, another one is self-awareness, enlightenment. But one of them is pleasure, which is moksha. And moksha and pleasure. And money helps you to get the means by which to often experience a better life. And money is necessary. Money is important. And you should have the right amount of money that makes you feel prosperous and good. But it's only one form of being happy in the world, and there's a lot of other things that go along with it. And we're going to talk about all of that in the Money Magnet class, so you can still get in on that. And we'll be starting that for everybody who joined, where we've sent you a library with all of the wealth and money frequencies. And it's really just fun to talk about any aspect of your words become your reality. And that's just another piece of that concept. Whatever you're talking about, whatever you're working on, whatever you're thinking about is what you're manifesting in the world. And every way that you are experiencing life today is a product of all the thoughts that you have been thinking for yesterday, a week before, 2 weeks before, a month before, etc. And so the best way to change anything is to begin to learn different exercises that help you to move into intentional thought and intentional words. And the truth is that you can know all of this, but until you act with repetition, you really need exercises and structure that help you to have this repetitive thought. And the genius actually helps you with that, because the genius gives you a focusing point with the frequencies, but you have to work in partnership with that through lifestyle, through your thoughts, through your words, and to really get the most life-changing and maximum benefit. Well, we have a library called the Kidney, Bladder, Tonify, and Tune-Up, and I'm going to talk about that, but I really want to talk about kidney and bladder in general as well. So the kidneys are really important organs, and what your kidneys do is they regulate fluids in your body. And so problems with the kidneys are directly related to blood pressure. And so when we consider somebody with high blood pressure, we want to consider how well their kidneys are working. And the kidneys have tiny little vessels. They have some of the smallest micro vessels. We actually have, at the tiniest level of the kidney, we have the functioning unit of the kidney, which is the nephron. And I believe we have 1 million nephron units in each one of the 2 kidneys. So it's quite extensive, and we have the tiniest little blood vessels that bring the blood supply to the nephron the nephrons of the kidneys. And they regulate fluids, but they also process minerals. They're going to get rid of any minerals that are there in excess, for example, too much sodium. And they're going to then keep any minerals that you don't have enough of. So if you didn't have enough potassium, they can actually, as it goes through what's called the tubule system, then you can actually gain back some of the minerals that you need. So it also maintains our electrolytes. What you should know is that what most people consume and think they're doing a wonderful thing for their body by consuming protein is anything that's above a tiny bit of protein that you need ends up being a burden on the body and a burden on the kidneys. Anytime you eat a complex protein, it needs to be broken down into amino acids. It also creates a toxic byproduct called ammonia. And so your kidneys work very hard to break down these complex proteins, and as such, they can become overworked over a lifetime. We do have more chronic kidney failure than we ever had because people are dutifully eating way more protein than they need. What we really need is something called starch, and in the form of potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, vegetables, fruits, things like that. Those are the things that we really eat food for and get nourished by. These other foods don't really give us a lot of what we really need in terms of human metabolism, and they tend up being a burden. So our kidneys are very, very precious. We want to take care of them. And if you had a serious kidney issue, most doctors would tell you to decrease the amount of protein that you're eating in order to make the kidneys work better. The kidneys are connected to the bladder, and in Chinese medicine, the kidney energy is very connected to the Western adrenal energy. And it's said that when you're born based on the circumstances of how your parents lived. Let's say they were very, very healthy, they took good care of themselves, they, decided to have children relatively young, they're still going to have their jing, and they are going to send this jing or this life force on to you. And when you're born, you get a wonderful bank account of jing. This is your life force energy. And if you eat well, eat nourishing foods, you're not too stressed in life, you go to bed early, you wake up early, you just do these wonderful things of self-care, then it's like a bank account. You're going to be making very small withdrawals from your jing over time. And because of this, you will remain healthy for longer, and you kind of look younger. People look at you and they say, gosh, you don't seem your age, you seem maybe 10 years younger because you've been cultivating and taking care of this kidney jing. And then you juxtapose that against someone who maybe they drank a lot of alcohol or they smoked a lot of cigarettes. So every time they do these things that deplete the body, you're actually giving up some of your savings account, you're giving up some of your jing. So kidney jing is really, really precious, and then that's going to age you faster if you do that. So you always want to be doing things that would put some savings back into that jing. You want to make some deposits to your kidney jing. So that would be like going on vacation, meditating, resting, eating nourishing food, spending time with friends, doing things that really nourish you, nourish your spirit, nourish your body. And so that's the concept of kidney jing. That's an energetic concept about the kidney, whereas just previously I was talking about the physical Western aspect of the kidney, what it actually does in the body, breaks down protein, regulates electrolytes, regulates fluids in the body, and is very much related to how well your vessels work in the body. So one of the problems, like with the diabetic, where they lose some of the good flow, the glucose flow to those smaller vessels, that can affect their kidneys and it can affect their eyes. So if you know someone who has chronic fatigue issues, you might want to work on their kidney energy because it's related to the adrenals. Chronic or recurring kidney or bladder infections. So this could just be related to stasis, not moving enough, stagnation. And you can actually get a number of different kidney herbs and bladder herbs, and you can actually do a kidney cleanse. And I think that's a good idea to do that maybe twice a year. Do a kidney cleanse, do a liver cleanse. And Andreas Moritz, in his book, The Gallbladder Liver Flush, he writes about a recipe for a good kidney tea, where you could get a kidney tea and get some herbs like juniper and burdock and other herbs that can help you to cleanse the kidney. So taking care of your kidneys and bladder over a lifetime, very, very important. Make sure that you're strengthening the pelvic floor. That is going to help with bladder issues. And in the library discount club this month, we gave away a library called the Pelvic Floor Stabilization Frequencies. And we're going to be doing a class on that one on Friday. So anybody who's a member of Library Discount Club, you'll have a link and can join us for that particular class, because we want to talk about some of the exercises, postures, things that you can do. It is immensely important to maintain the health of that pelvic floor over a lifetime. That is going to help the bladder to work better, not get infections, not get any incontinence and things like that. We have to really be mindful of that. And this is all part of kidney bladder wellness and self-care. And then in the kidney, in the body, there's 3 kinds of energy. And it's good to know about all of them, right? So Jing is the material body, energy stores, and then our DNA. And then Qi is the ability to transform food, is the flowing force of the body that transforms food into energy. That food eventually becomes Qi. And Shen is the connection to our higher selves and our spirituality. So there's 3 different types of energy. And the one we've been talking about today is the Jing. Okay, it's the primal energy of life. It's deep foundational energy reserve of the body. And it's a treasure, right, that we talked about. Now, there are lots of Chinese tonic herbs that you can also use to build up your kidney Jing. Foods that have a black color, like black beans, black sesame seeds. Those types of foods will help you to nourish and build up your Jing. There's an herb in Chinese tonic medicine called Rehmannia, and when it's called prepared, Rehmannia is kind of cooked in this kind of sticky Rehmannia that's made into this wonderful adrenal tonic herb. If you find yourself with chronic fatigue, you just wake up in the morning, you don't have any energy, even when you go to sleep at night, you don't get deep sleep, this may be a deep depletion of your kidney Jing. And many of these herbs can be really helpful. So it'd be like reishi, Rehmannia, chaga, some of the other ones that come to mind, eucommia. There's lots of them, lion's mane. A lot of them are Chinese tonic herbs that can be really helpful for rebuilding this Jing. So it's said that kidney Jing is a foundation of yin and yang in the body, that the kidney yin moistens and nourishes the organs, the joints, and then the kidney yang provides warmth and promotes the health of the organs and the tissue. So be careful that you don't end up spending this kidney Jing in a way that can really deplete your body. And I think the Chinese elders that originally wrote about Chinese medicine, thousands of years ago, they kind of looked upon the West as being this kind of immature society, and they were, much kind of further down the line. They understood how you can, have all this great energy in your body, but really, be very intentional about taking care of it. Whereas I think us in the West, we're just like a bull in a china shop, like blah, blah, blah. We can drink coffee all day and we can do whatever we want. And we can stay up all night. And we can work ourselves to death. And we don't understand, because even if you look today at allopathic medicine, what's really curious is they're really still just telling us about the physical body. So when you go to a Western doctor, for the most part, they're just going to tell you about all the body parts and all the mechanisms in the body. But if you go to a Chinese medicine practitioner, they're going to tell you all about the energetics of your body and where the energy is blocked, where it's stagnant, where it needs to flow better. And they'll refer to this Jing and the Qi and the Shen, which are all invisible forces. You can't actually see them. And yet they're probably much more highly accurate than just talking about the physical body. So it's really, really fascinating. We still tolerate this today when we go to doctors. They just kind of pretending that the energy field doesn't exist. They don't talk about it. They don't really factor it into most of the things that they're doing. It's kind of curious. So to revitalize your Jing, you can use yoga is a great one. Absolutely amazing. Even if you just did the most basic postures, I encourage everybody to do at least one yoga class or try one yoga class on YouTube. It is because the main thing about yoga you need to know, now there's a lot to twisting the body, actually exercises the different organs, but the basis of yoga, which could be translated to some stretching practices as well, is the compression and the release of blood. So you're compressing as you're stretching, you're cutting off. There's some postures where you go backwards and you sort of compress the blood in your legs as you kind of go backwards, and your knees are sort of under you here. And so you're like cutting off all the blood to the legs, and then you release it and all the blood flows, and you're getting this constant sort of tourniquet effect of holding back the blood, and then all of this blood rushes into the area. And so it profoundly reduces stagnation. And I can tell, after a week of maybe not doing yoga and then doing 2 classes in a row, it's like all the pain in my body is gone. And that's just not an accident. That is because of the reduction of the stagnation through restoring the flow with that compressive technique. And anybody can do that, through stretching and release techniques, but yoga seems to really get it right. They really have the practice down pat. Now you can also revitalize kidney Jing through Tai Chi or Qigong. Those are other things that I really encourage everybody to learn about, because they're just never going to give you even what an herb can give you. Like, it'd be great to really take some ashwagandha, schizandra, reishi, rhodiola, but if we don't find innovative ways to work on this qi energy, then we really won't revitalize that kidney Jing in the same way. All right, we also have the kidney, bladder, tonify, and tune-up library is one, but we can also work on within the Genius bladder wellness. The thing to know about bladder wellness, you want to keep the muscles related to the bladder strong. So you want to do things like squats and the kind of exercises shown here, and all types of crunches and leg lifts and things like that. You want to do that every single day of your life if you can. Keep the kidneys strong and healthy. We'll talk about that. Work on the pelvic wall, and include the muscles, vessels, and nerves. That's if you want to do it on the Genius, you can include all of those things. Okay, we want to always, when you're taking care of kidney and bladder, think about the pelvic floor muscles. So you want to they span from the bottom of the pelvis, and they support the pelvic organs, includes the bladder and the bowel. Pelvic support is important for lifelong bladder health. A lot of it is tone and musculature. And for anybody who sits for a long period of time, or people become just, don't walk as much, don't do as much working out, this is a vital area. And for those who do yoga, if you do upward dog and downward dog and upward dog and down, when you do that rotation, you could just do 10 sun salutations a day. Just go on YouTube and look up sun salutation. Everybody knows that, right? Surya Namaskar. And if you just did 10 of those a day, you'd be doing a lot towards stabilizing the pelvic floor. And these muscles work the deep abdominal and back muscles. They support the spine and control pressure inside the abdomen. They're really crucial to lifelong bowel and bladder continence. And so you can work on these muscles with your Genius, but you also have to actually do the physical work. That'll really go a long way to just really keeping healthy in this area for a lifetime. And we can kind of look at this here, some of the muscles, the pubococcygeus, the iliococcygeus, all of this, right? We can look at that. You can kind of see where they are. And again, if we sit a lot, or we don't walk, or, running, if you can still do a small jog every day, that is going to go a long way. So if you could just jog around the block once, and then you could jog around the block twice, that would go a long way to helping these pelvic floor muscles, kind of super easy. Then do 10 crunches and some downward facing dog, upward facing dog, and you're going to be in the business of really helping these pelvic floor muscles. So of course, Kegels, there are like quick Kegels that you can do, and there's also long hold Kegels, and you should do a combination of those. Those are really great, and very quickly, anybody who's having issues with their bladder can actually reverse that through Kegel exercises that are done properly, every single day, being disciplined. You can really reverse some of that very, very quickly. Okay, just a few more like really good yoga postures. Again, you might be watching this and thinking, well, I'm not a yogi, I'll never be a yogi, or maybe you do them. But if you can just watch one YouTube video and try it, these just really go a long way. I can't say enough of how feeling between the times that I do yoga and the times that I skip yoga, it's a big difference. And of course, there's downward facing dog, and anybody can really, most people can really do these. This one's a little harder, but when you get good at it, have you ever done this? Have you ever done the locust posture? I'm sure some people have here. And look at this. This really brings a lot of circulation to the kidneys, because again, you're kind of lifting up and you're using all your back muscles. And as you lift up, you're compressing that flow to the kidneys. And then when you go down, the kidneys just get this flush of blood flow and oxygen, glucose, nutrition. Really, really great. When I first started doing this one, I couldn't even really lift up at all. And now I'm always thrilled when I'm able to get some lift there. And then when you go back into Shavasana and you rest, your back feels amazing. Just feels so good. It's not stiff or stuck anymore. All right, so bladder strength tune-up, the muscles of the pelvic floor, along with the nerves and vessels. This is all in the library. Some of you may have this library, the kidney bladder tune-up, and we cover a lot of these muscles. And so when you're working on the physical muscles or doing yoga postures, you can be running these frequencies at the same time. So this is an example of something that you can do. You can have the kidney bladder tonify library that we have, but you could also just go to the system overview and do today's stress, the spinal nerves, right? Spinal energy. The spinal nerves innervate many of the muscles, organs, and glands, including the kidney and the bladder. And then Bach flower essences, the nogies, they're specific nogies for the kidney and the bladder. And then of course the solfeggio tones, good for always creating harmony. You could just put all of them in there. One easy way to do that is you just simply drag the solfeggio tones into the tray. And once you drag them into the tray, all of the frequencies then populate there. Okay, from the libraries, we have the bladder Rife codes. We have the muscle series. So, and if the muscles, all the muscles of the body include this. We have the interstitium. It's one that we haven't really talked about. The interstitium is the extracellular matrix, and it's the tissue that lives between all the muscles and joints. It can actually build up a lot of toxins in the interstitium. So this works on the connective tissue. We have the mitochondrial rejuvenation program. Anytime that you're having an energy issue or somebody that you know is having an energy issue, think about the mitochondrial rejuvenation program. The UTI series, nerve tonifying, vessel harmonizing, and yeah, the UTI series is the urinary tract infection assessment and urinary tract infection solutions. And of course, you always want to work on the vessels because the vessels are very, very microvascular, tiny capillaries that go to the kidneys. So if somebody has heart disease or serious atherosclerosis, that is going to result in diminished function to the kidneys. Now, if you're eating a regular sort of Western diet and you have meat and dairy and eggs, chicken, fish, beef in your diet, then you're building up this reduced ability to perfuse through the vessels over time. And that can then result in the reduced ability of the kidneys to do their job. And so it's really important when you're looking at somebody who has high blood pressure that we don't just give a blood pressure medication, but we try to find out what caused the high blood pressure in the first place. And if we can make a difference through diet change and maybe some magnesium and some potassium, then better regulating the ability of the blood vessels to vasodilate, then we don't want to really give a medication because the medication comes with a lot of side effects. For example, a lot of people are on calcium channel blockers. Well, calcium channel blockers have been shown over time to begin to reduce proper blood flow to the brain. And there's also another study that shows that taking calcium channel blockers over a number of years can increase your risk for cancer, different cancers. So really want to consider it very, very, cost benefit analysis when you're considering any of the medications, especially those for cholesterol and high blood pressure, because generally when a patient goes on those particular medications, they ain't getting off of those medications, right? So, the Hotel California, you can, check in, but you can't check out kind of a thing. You're not going to be getting off of either one, your cholesterol medication or your blood pressure medication very easily. And usually they're adding additional medication. So the best thing is if you can find out from maybe some of the lectures that we do, our Detox and Nourish class or High Vibe Nutrition class, is how to never have to get on those medications whenever that would be possible. All right, so on this particular one, you're going to take all of these libraries and this previous one, you're going to put all the reds and blues in the main hold tray, and you know the deal, go to Progressive Insights, select the high items and run the high items for 15 minutes. Like I said, the kidneys are a powerful filtration system for the blood. They filter the blood several times a day, which is absolutely amazing, and maintain the acid-base balance and control pH to keep it slightly alkaline. So again, if you eat a lot of these really high protein foods, which have been encouraged, like they're going to keep you really healthy, it's just not really true. And they bring a lot of acids. It's called amino acids. And so they make your body more acidic. And so the body has to keep compensating with a lot of alkaline things to help to excrete or buffer against the acids. And so you end up depleting, it's really ironic, milk, and I'm sure a lot of you don't drink milk anymore. It's, obviously a lot of people have changed what they do. Milk is so high protein, and so all of that protein is acidic. And so what do women do? They drink their extra glasses of milk because it's going to help their bones, but then it's so high in protein, of course, putting a burden on the kidneys. And in order to match against that acidification, they actually end up urinating out a lot of minerals to buffer against the acids. So then what happens with all of those minerals that women are urinating out, peeing out, losing from their body? They're losing it from who can say it for me? They're losing it from their bones. And so the very thing that they thought was going to help to cure or prevent the loss of their bones is actually doing exactly the opposite. It's causing the loss of their bone loss. Pretty amazing when you really think about it. So the kidneys help you to maintain this mineral balance. They're going to remove excess potassium or sodium. They're going to basically match, buffer against any excess acids in the body. They're going to take in any minerals that are needed. They process a lot of drugs through the kidneys as well. They're going to maintain your electrolyte balance. So if there's a problem, that's another thing. If the kidneys are not eliminating fluids very well from the body, then they're putting an extra burden on your cardiovascular system, and that may be leading to the high blood pressure. So as soon as you take care of the kidneys, you really get them working better by changing the food, then it's amazing how quickly the blood pressure will go down. All right, so let's see, oops, just do that. Make sure we're not, okay. All right, I want to regulate the blood pressure. Do you have a client with high blood pressure? Working on kidney frequencies could be very helpful. We want to have healthy kidneys for life. We want to regulate our blood pressure. We want to have proper fluid balance, and we want to have good filtration of the blood and elimination of toxins. All right, you could actually do a kidney cleanse each and every or twice a year if you wanted to. And to do that, you could use Shanka piedra, which is also known as a stone breaker. Now, Shanka piedra is an Amazonian herb. It is a really good herb to take. What you would do is you'd maybe make a note in your calendar. I'm going to take it for 2 weeks in the springtime, and I'm going to take it for 2 weeks in the fall. It's excellent for breaking up gallstones. It's for breaking them down, I should say. It's excellent for breaking down kidney stones. It's a stone breaker. It's like these calcifications that end up in your body. For some reason, Shankapiedra is able to break them up. I don't think any herb really should be taken every day. You want it in your rotation when you're working on certain things, preventative or something that you're treating for yourself. Juniper, same thing. You wouldn't want to take juniper every single day. But juniper promotes kidney wellness. It clears residue from the system. Somebody who has kidney stones, drinking lemon juice and water. Of course, cranberry is another one that's really great for the urinary tract. You can have little cranberry capsules if you want to. Uva ursi and corn silk are all great. And when you have a good formulation for the kidneys, a good herbal formulation, then what will happen is you'll begin to just slowly release the silt and the gunk, that's in the kidneys that hasn't been properly broken down and eliminated. So you can also just look online for Andreas Moritz kidney tea, and there are certain vendors that will mix up that tea formulation, and you order it. I think it was like $28 or something. You order it, and then you drink the tea until it's complete. So you may drink it for 2 to 3 weeks, and then once it's complete, you repeat it maybe in another 4 to 6 months. And again, once again, Shankapiedra, an amazing Amazonian herb. So anybody who has if you have gallbladder pain, go to my website, geniusbiofeedback.com, and download the Detox and Nourish class. Or you can even just ask for my potato rice pasta handout if you send me a message. If you stay on this food plan for 4 to 6 weeks, all of your gallbladder pain is very likely to just completely go away, because it comes from a high-fat diet, essentially. And once you change that high-fat diet, you really won't have any problems with your gallbladder. But if you do, you could also try the Shankapiedra. I recommend changing the food that you're eating. But in the meantime, you can break down that gallbladder and really make a difference with the Shankapiedra. All right, and then we have Uva ursi, which is kind of like the regular cranberry. It's called the mountain cranberry. It neutralizes urine acidity, it clears toxins, it turns chemicals into hydroquinone in the body, which is really interesting, the concept of hydroquinone. It breaks down chemicals in the body. It has an antibacterial action. It'll prevent UTIs, Uva ursi. Most women who have had any UTIs are pretty familiar with the Uva ursi, but it's interesting that it has a similar constituent to cranberry. Okay, so you can do a kidney tune-up by using today's stress, the meridians, the organs, spinal energy, Bach flower essences, and solfeggio tones. And then you can also use our library's kidney anatomy, kidney solutions. I believe this comes in the kidney wellness pack. There's also a library for kidney stones. So kidney stone stress disturbance clearing frequencies. We have a UTI series, the nerve tonifying. One of the things that is I always use in my processes for clients is when I'm thinking about working on the heart or working on the kidneys, working on the pancreas, diabetic, blood sugar, is also I'm using frequencies for the vessels, for the arteries bringing blood flow to that organ, for veins taking away waste and fluid from that organ or that system. And then I'm also using working on the nerves related to that particular area. And often I'm using the anatomy, because think of what the genius frequencies are doing. They're sending energy, right? I've always said you're an energetic director. And so they're sending energy to those places. So you want to work on the whole organ, the whole system. And by addressing the arteries, the veins, the nerves, the anatomy, you're going to be very effective for doing that. You can do this for vision by sending all of that to the eye arteries, the eye veins, the nerves, the optic nerve. It's the same technique from a biofeedback frequency perspective. Again, you combine all the reds and blues into the main hold tray. Once in Progressive Insights, select the high items, run the high items for 15 minutes. Or you can do as you see me do on a regular basis, which is I just run it for 1 minute. I'll never forget when we were transitioning back in 2016 from the older version of the Genius, which used to be called the Infinity, and Ryan was in the development phases of the Genius, and we were all talking and all sort of teaming up together and talking about what would be best. And really came to light that Ryan was very intentional. I don't want the practitioners to have to run the frequencies forever, for so long. So he really made it that it would be very effective for even just 2 to 3 minutes of running frequencies. And that's why you see me run for 1 minute, or I might run for 3 minutes and then do a rescan and then do a rescan. But my total balancing is probably going to be 15 minutes or less. We do think that as a practitioner, or even for ourselves, that longer is better. If we run it all day, we're going to feel amazing. And that, there's nothing necessarily that you can't do. We're not going to tell you not to do it. But if you think about it, when you're trying to get into shape, you don't exercise all day. You go out and you exercise for 30 minutes. But what happens through the rest of the day? Your whole body, your lymphatic system, your immune system, your liver, everything is adjusting. Your muscles are building up. So you're getting the whole reverberation of all of the good things that you're doing for that 30 minutes you're exercising throughout the day. So you should think about an analogous situation with your Genius. You run your Genius for 15 or 30 minutes, and then all the reverberation, all the changes in your being and your body are being processed during the next 24 hours. And then you don't really need to run frequencies until the next day. And then you run them for 30 minutes, and then you change some more and things begin to transform. And that's really how to do it. That's really the best and most efficient way to use your Genius. And it was really meant that you could make big changes in a short amount of time. Okay, so a summary here. With your kidney Jing, you're going to try to tune up your energy and your vital force. And this is all in the Kidney Bladder Tonify Tune-Up library, but it also summarizes the goals that we talked about today, things that you would want to do with your Genius in order to achieve certain goals. Bladder strengthening, tune up the muscles, the nerves, and the ligaments around the pelvic floor. We also have a new library called the Pelvic Floor Stabilization Frequencies. A kidney tune-up, work on kidney wellness for healthy fluid regulation and promoting optimal kidney function. And then enjoy using those frequencies. So now we'll move on to doing a session. I know we had some volunteers. And so we will bring in our Genius in just a moment here. All right, so let's see, and let's go ahead and see if you have any questions. All right. Let's see what you've got. Some questions here. Would the kidneys affect trace blood in the urine? Yeah, they sure would. That would be a main reason. The main reason for blood in the urine would be a bladder infection or kidney infection. That is one of the things that we were taught in naturopathic college to take very, very seriously. That is something you'd want to go to your doctor, urgent care, and just get it worked up. You'd want to know what the origin of that is. If it just comes and goes, maybe it was, when you eat beets, you can see red in your urine, and of course you can see red in your stool. So, some of the things that you've eaten, medications, maybe a temporary change in color, that's something to know about, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there is blood there unless you've tested it with a urine urine dipstick. All right, so interstitial cystitis. Where does interstitial cystitis come from? Hang on for 1 second. So where does interstitial cystitis come from? Now that's a really interesting question. We think interstitial cystitis is autoimmune. So if you have an issue with, Angela, if that's for you or one of your clients, then write to me and I will give you the potato rice pasta plan. Just changing the diet and going on that starch-centered plan may be able to resolve the interstitial cystitis. My suspicion is it's related to autoimmunity. It is incredibly painful and it's very perplexing for doctors. So shoot me a message and we can talk about it. Do the Tibetan exercises have the same effect? So the 5 Tibetan rites, they have a good effect on the kidney Jing. So yes, if you're asking about the kidney Jing, yes, they would have a very good effect. Jen says, I recently purchased the Bone Power Regeneration Library. This is very good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's so good. That was one that really put a lot of time and intention into. The Shanka Piedra helped me instantly along with the potato rice pasta or detox and nourish plan. That's awesome, Debbie. I'm so grateful and happy to hear that. But Shanka Piedra is kind of a miracle worker. It really does work miracles. What website do I go to get the diet? So if you just like my potatoes, rice, pasta handout, Kimberly, write me a message. And you could also go to geniusbiofeedback.com and check out the detox and nourish class. You can just write to me and request the handout, which I give away for free, because this food plan, when you do it, it will be life changing and will really help you to receive better effects from the frequencies. My husband is so effective with the changes I had with the meal plan that he wants to try it now. You know, in my medical practice, it was always more difficult to get the spouse in, and often that person doing it, having a transformation would really wow the spouse, and then he wants to get in on the mix and do it as well, and that's really, really great because it's going to make a wonderful difference in his health too. So I'm really, really excited to hear that. Okay, when I first got the Genius and did that, I alternated on a roller coaster, super high to super sleepy. First got the Genius and did that, I alternated. Oh, okay, so you're saying you probably ran a lot of frequencies. I understand. Okay. All right, so I gotcha on that, and we're going to see, we have some other questions here. So I'd like to volunteer for a session. Well, Carol, that's fine. We'll go ahead and we'll work on you. And can you post a link in the chat for the meal plan? Let me see if I can find it while I'm talking. Otherwise, you're welcome to just email me, and I would be happy to talk with you about it. So happy to make sure that you receive that. So let's go ahead and see what we've got here with the Genius. Go ahead and bring the Genius up here. And we're going to call on Carol in just a moment to join us. So I'm going to bring that information up in just one moment. And let's see what we've got here. Go ahead and get that all arranged. All right. Thanks for your excellent questions today and comments. And we're going to do some balancing. So it'll be fun to work with Carol here. And Carol, did you put your date of birth in there? Okay, you did. All right, good. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, we must have worked on you a real long time ago when you were first getting into your Genius. I have you here in my database, so really super easy to work on you here. So we're going to bring that up there, and then I think we're just going to use the voice today because we're going to be a little bit tight for time. So Carol, I'm just going to open up your microphone here. There we go. Carol, how are you? All right, Carol, are you there? Are you able to get to your microphone? We can just...
I am. Can you hear?
Yes, Carol, how are you? Are you there? You were there, but then you're gone. There you are.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You know what? While I have you, really quickly, let me go ahead and record your voice. I'll start recording your voice in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Carol, AEIOU, healthy, happy, pain-free. AEIOU, AEIOU, healthy, motivated, happy.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on or what you'd like me to focus on for you.
Well, kidney bladder has kind of been an issue. Frequent urination. I started a watermelon fast, which seemed to really assist.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but I still have discomfort, a burning
Okay.
discomfort.
Okay, I understand. Have you tried the program, the nourishment food program that we've talked about on here?
I have,
And did you do our detox and nourish class? I can't remember. Or you maybe came to our practitioner circle and maybe you tried the potato rice pasta plan.
yes.
Okay, and how long were you able to stay on it, or are you on it now?
I'm on it now.
Okay. Did it give you any change? Did it seem to change it in any way?
I started putting weight on.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it. You can email me and ask me questions. There's usually reasons for that, and I could talk to you about that. It might have just been, transient as you make the change, but it actually will help you just to help your weight to level out ultimately. Um, question for you. You said that the watermelon started. Do you drink any caffeinated beverages?
Occasionally.
Okay. Okay, so not every day.
No.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So I'll work on you here and we'll see what comes up and I'll come back to you in just a little bit, okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, great. So we're just going to go ahead and mute her there. So let's go ahead and go back here and we're going to go right to our aura. So let's look at the aura and see what we see. And thanks, Carol, for volunteering. Really appreciate it. And all right. Okay, fantastic. Okay, got some other comments there. Fantastic. All right. Very good. So now let's go ahead and we'll see what the initial aura is and see what we need to do. And we're going to look at some of these kidney bladder issues. Okay, so very interesting. Now, when you think about it, for those of you who come every week, you kind of get the feeling, and you're looking on your own genius, you kind of get the feeling when you see something that's kind of like crisp and sharp versus what we're seeing today. It's like it's not as much of the vital force coming through that we would like to see. It's a little bit muddied, it's a little bit muted, it's a little bit of that, it's sort of not the clear, crisp colors that we want. And that's fine. That's a perfectly fine place to start. So what I wanted to do there was look at the avatar. Okay, well, we got a lot of beautiful blue, kind of a turquoise blue coming through. We've got sort of a pink color, a blue color. There's that sort of greenish color again. So a lot of fourth chakra clearing going on. And I think we also have a lot of third chakra. I see a lot of liver, gallbladder stuff coming up. So let's go ahead and go to our libraries. And right away, let's go to our kidney bladder tune-up. And that's not the one we want. Let's see what we've got. Kidney, kidney, kidney. We also have a kidney stones library. And again, if you eat high protein rich foods, it's more likely you'll get kidney stones. And if you've had kidney stones, if you just give up the high protein, higher fat foods, you really will never suffer with kidney stones again. Here's the kidney bladder tonify and tune up. Let's go ahead and look at that. And it says, okay, so the musculature, perfect fluid balance, pelvic floor strengthening. So we want to get on those exercises for the pelvic floor. And they don't have to be, this isn't marathoning, this isn't MMA. This is like 10 crunches and 10 leg lifts and 1 downward dog. If we did that every day, very quickly, we'd start to strengthen that pelvic floor. So if we're doing 10 and it's not working, we need to do 20. The lumbosacral joint, so back strength. Kela helps with inflammation. Healthy bladder function restored. The common iliac artery, the spinal nerve, corn silk, that's going to be an herb for the bladder. Perfect filtration rate. Lobelia. Lobelia is good for, it's good for the lungs. It helps with the immune system. It can be good for the bladder. Uric acid. This is a muscle, obturator internus. So this is a muscle around the pelvic floor. The bladder neck, that's really interesting. So something going on with the structure of the bladder and helping with good posture will help with all of those sort of configurations, because you can have prolapse. And another trick with pelvic floor is a slant board. So looking online to get a slant board, if you go back to the work of Bernard Jensen and his work he did with the colon, tissue cleansing through bowel management. What a name for a book, And when you go to the works that he did, every single thing that he did when he counseled a client about how to improve their health, Slant board. Slant board. You should be on a slant board. Make sure you're on a slant board for 20 minutes a day. That means that your head is going to be, your heart is going to be higher than your head. And it doesn't have to be an inversion board. You can actually get these kind of cushion slant boards, but he would say that's good for your teeth because you would get blood back into the teeth. It's good for your brain because you get more blood flow to your brain. And it's good because it builds up the abdomen. It tonifies your abdomen when you're lying on the slant board in a more passive way. The proximal tubule, that's in the kidneys. Prolapse, correct and heal. Drink more water each day. Let's see what's down here on the blues. Juniper, maybe you get a kidney cleanse. Maybe do Andreas Moritz's kidney cleanse. But I do want you to email me, Carol, because I'd like to know. I have a feeling there are a few things on the Detox and Nourish we weren't quite achieving, and you don't necessarily have to do it, but let me at least troubleshoot with you a little bit, and let's see if there's anything we could do a little bit better. Okay, clear the renal calculi, kidneys optimized, right frequencies, the pudendal nerve. See how we work on the muscles and the nerves with all the energetics? The bladder apex, pelvic organ prolapse reverse. So see that bladder neck and bladder apex, all of the configuration there may be coming from prolapse. And we can help prolapse by strengthening the pelvic floor. It's not a lost cause. All right, so we've got a whole bunch of muscles, arteries, black cherry juice. So let's get them all into the mix. Let's look at a few other things. So we also, let's look at the liver because the liver came up. We saw that gallbladder liver. So let's see, we have a liver tonify as well, liver tune up and tonify. We don't really have time to look at all of these, but let's just go ahead and get them into the mix because I think that's part of it. And we're going to see if that changes the aura. We even have this gallbladder one. It's not quite complete yet. This will be completed soon. But what I wanted to look at was this one. All right, so let's just go ahead and, so gallbladder inflammation reduced, the left hepatic duct. Disodium phosphate. Disodium phosphate is an interesting one. It acts sort of like Epsom salt, and it takes action on the gallstones to help to break them down, sort of whittle them down, like dissolve them a little bit. All right, let's go ahead, and now we really don't want to do anything with our genius unless we include our Bach flower essences. It goes a really, really long way. So Bach flower essences, because they help us to understand the person. Hers is, really lighting up for her. Just a couple of other tricks that you can do is you can include all the nogiers because then you're getting a whole body tune-up. Another trick you can do is you can put the nogiers up into the quick zap and alternate. So all the nogiers creates like a harmonic or tunes the entire system into balance. Another trick that you could do is all the solfeggios. So let's take those. And if we can put them down in here, and then we can put them up in here as well. And we can alternate again, 1 minute of quick zap in between our balancing here. So now let's go ahead, let's go to Progressive Insights. Let's see what is the top flower essence that's coming up today. So the top flower essence that comes up for her is Wild Rose, which is right. Let's see if I did that right. Look, Kegel exercises, reduce glutathione, detoxify. Phase 1 detoxification. So there definitely is some liver stuff coming up there. And then you can see Wild Rose. So Wild Rose is drifting and resignation. We're just kind of feeling like, man, I give up for a while. Wild Rose is a remedy for long-term exhaustion and resignation. Having suffered much, you may no longer expect to recover from the onslaught. Deep feelings of sadness make your heart feel heavy. Using Wild Rose restores your spirit. We all kind of need that. We really need like a massive global spiritual retreat to deal with everything we've been trying to deal with as a global consciousness. Deep feelings of sadness may make your heart feel heavy. Using Wild Rose restores your spirit. Bringing solace to your heart, it uplifts you again into a love for life. Enthusiasm is returned to you after a long bout in the wilderness where you weren't feeling enthusiastic. It's easy for everybody to feel a bit like that these days. Let's just see what some of the comments were here. Is this recording? I didn't hit the record, but we are broadcasting live to YouTube, so fingers crossed we're okay. What is the kidney tea that you mentioned? So excellent book, if you've never read it, is Andreas Moritz, his gallbladder liver cleanse. Really should just do like a summary, like, a little video to summarize this gallbladder liver cleanse. It's one of those like, you know, if I had and another thing I could do is make a list of my top 10 health books. And this would be on my list of the top 10 health books you need to know about because his book is so good at really pointing out a wonderful thing to do, gallbladder liver cleanse, and just get off of the foods that cause the gallbladder to be problematic. And then you don't even need to do this as often. But if you've been eating anything other than the foods that I describe in my Detox and Nourish class or my potato rice pasta for some time, you eat eggs, you eat meat, you eat dairy, if you eat those foods, then you're going to start building up gallstones. So you do need to do gallbladder liver cleanse. But he talks about all these different, you know, aspects of health. And everybody really needs to do a kidney liver cleanse anyway. And so you can also do the his kidney tea is what you're looking for. And you can just Google Andreas Mertz kidney tea. And I know there's merchants out there that are making his formula, which is named in his book. So if you download the book, you can find the formula, and other people have just gone ahead and put the formula together for you, or you could try to order it in bulk and make it yourself. All right, so let's see if was there one other? Okay, got it. All right, so then what we want to do is do a quick rescan here, and let's see what comes up in the second scan. I've only balanced for 1 minute, so let's see what comes up. Oregon grape root to increase bile flow. That has to do with the gallbladder. Remember I said that orange, or it looked like liver gallbladder in the aura? Bacteria cleansed from blood effectively and efficiently through optimized liver function. So in this particular case, the aura kind of tipped our hand, right? We kind of learned a lot from the aura that the client wasn't necessarily saying to us directly that we needed to work on sort of solar chakra, kidney, liver digestion. Okay, glomerulus, Epstein-Barr virus clearing. So if there's some chronic fatigue, could be related to this. Kegel exercises come up again. Do those Kegels when you're just sitting here watching the class. You're doing your Kegels when you're walking around town. You're doing your Kegels. Y'all know, right? Nobody else knows, but you know you're doing your Kegels, and they do make a difference. You can significantly help. So usually urinary like incontinence or not being able to hold on to urine, that's related. The Kegels can really help. Frequency of urination can be from loss of those pelvic floor muscles, but it really has a lot to do with diet. And you can kind of shift and change that quite a bit through doing some things with diet. But I think the kidney tea would probably help as well. It's all about kidney. You know, the kidney is just under a lot of duress from the diet that people were taught to follow from the time that they were little kids. It really puts a lot of burden on the kidneys because we're just really not designed evolutionarily to eat these types of foods. So it looks like willow is the next one that comes up, as I see as the next one. So let's see, we just balanced for a minute. Let's just do another rescan while I read about willow. Everything in the W's, well, it's really close. It's on the next page. Okay, willow is a remedy for feelings of resentment. Okay, bitterness can accumulate. Now that's interesting because bitterness accumulates in the gallbladder. And people if you look at the beginning of the 20th century, when the traditional naturopaths wrote in their journals, in their books, and taught people, they said, watch for the person may have irritability, which we called biliousness, bile being from the gallbladder. They have so much bile in play there. They're irritable, bitterness. And also the eating bitters can help with all of that as well. So bitterness on the tongue is sweetness in the digestive, converts into sweetness in the digestive tract. Bitterness can accumulate when you're unable to establish proper boundaries in giving to others. You're so giving, it's hard for you to have your good boundaries. This may be a buildup of a dam of frozen rage that inhibits your ability to experience joy. Willow helps unleash this frozen anger so your forces can burn again with passionate rose tones of love. When you're flowing with life, so flow, kidneys, when you're flowing with life, forgiveness towards others is a natural expression of this upwelling movement. Yeah, we're going to have more flow. We're going to have more healthy kidneys when we're very, very forgiving. It's not always easy. It's not always easy for any of us to forgive. And the final one is sweet chestnut. You always want to write down those top 3 flower essences, and if possible, put them in separately to a separate quanta capsule and export the 3 top flower essences after the one that comes up after each of the rescans, because those are the really significant ones for the day. So sweet chestnut is a remedy for the deepest form of anxiety in which you feel alone in your suffering. Call it the dark night of the soul. So this is like the dark before the dawn. Gosh, aren't a lot of us going through this? Carol, you're really speaking for the collective consciousness today. So with a one scan and then a rescan and then a second rescan running for 3 minutes, let's see what the aura looks like now. So oxalates are hard on the kidneys, but eating eggs and drinking milk and eating beef and eating chicken and eating fish puts way more of a burden and a likelihood of the development of kidney stones than any plants that have oxalates. And that is a way overplayed hand, unfortunately. But yes, it still remains true. Obviously, calcium oxalate is one of the types of kidney stones. All right, so it's interesting. That is like the dark night of the soul, but isn't it interesting? All of that, for the most part, let me just see, hide the avatar. So a lot of that yellow golden mustard is actually gone, and we're moving into healing from the heart, but we've still got some digestive clearing to go. We've got a kind of a darkish, brownish, reddish energy coming through, and so we still need to kind of clear that up. Let's see if we just have the other one shown here that we can compare. So look at one to the other. So we're in the process of healing and clearing. Now that's where your quick zap can come in handy. What if we go up here? Now we have all of the solfeggios, right? And we have all of the nogies. And what if we balance that for 1 minute? And then we see where our aura evolves to. So, we do have our class today. If you still want to get in on the Money Magnet course, you can just go into our geniusbiofeedback.com and check out the Money Magnet course link. It's still 40% off. And we're starting today. So everybody who's in the course, I'm super excited to share this information with you. It's going to be fun. You're going to be doing some fun money attraction over the next few weeks. So I'm excited to meet with you for that. And then I do want to call your attention to the events calendar. So I'm just going to go to our website, which is geniusbiofeedback.com, hopefully. Geniusfeedback.com. Okay, there we go. And when we come in here, my goodness, too many things here. And we just check out the website here. I know we can do it. So I just want to call your attention to our events page. And let's just go to the events page here. And what we're finally doing here is, on the events page, is we've actually just put on the events that are upcoming. And so every frequency and energy hour, we've given a topic. So next week is going to be blood sugar and weight loss. Then the following week is going to be telomeres. Then the following week is going to be blood pressure. Then the next Tuesday is going to be lymphatics of the immune system. So we'll keep adding on to this. But I wanted to give you the ability to know what the topics are that are coming up. And that way you know what we're going to be talking about sort of in advance. And then every time we have a particular topic, we always add in a special. So 40% off this week is kidney, liver, and bladder. And so if you don't see the 40% off the Money Magnet course, don't just abandon ship. Just shoot me a message because my assistant may have taken off the promotion for that one. I want to make sure you still get the 40% off. If you do want to join us today for the Money Magnet course, it does come with libraries for just a little bit over $100, you get a set of great libraries for abundance, and you get the course, which you can listen to several times over. It's at 3 o'clock Pacific this afternoon, 6 o'clock Eastern time. And anybody who wants the food plan, please email me so I can send that to you. There's no charge for that. And then we will come back next week to talk about blood sugar and weight loss. And I think that that's just about everything. Oh, we wanted to look at I knew there was one other thing. We want to look at the final aura. So just thinking, what is the final thing that I've missed here? So let me go to the aura here. I just want to see what happened when we ran the solfeggios and nogies together. Let's take a quick peek at that before we tie everything up with a bow for the day. So let's see what's happening here. So we had that sort of green, the heart. We had less of the yellow, less of that mustard color. Let's just go ahead and see what's happened here and take a look at the final aura for the day. Okay, thumbs up. All right, so I like this. So this is really interesting. Let's get that avatar out of the way for the moment, and let's see the whole thing. Okay, doesn't that kind of tell the whole story? If you're a practitioner, really endeavor to include the before and after, even if you have to manually email it or place it into a report, because it really does tell the whole story. And it really makes a big difference when you can share that ending aura with your client because they can see the effect of the frequencies. So let's go ahead and just look at this for a moment here. I guess I didn't get it without the aura. Okay, we can look at the original one too as well. So we can kind of see that original one. And we had that sort of that mustard color. Some of that is still, but you can see, look at the purple, look at the new awareness, look at the beautiful pink, look at the opening in the higher chakras. And it looks a lot less stressed out than what we started off with, or even our second one that we were doing. So Carol, quick check-in with you. What are your thoughts as we were working on you? How did this information land with you?
It does. I can relate. And I appreciate it. Thank you. I've just started working with the Bach flower essences singly, and I do feel a difference with them. So
That's
wild rose,
wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And do you have a Quanta capsule?
I do.
Okay, do you want to put the email of your Quanta capsule into the chat?
Sure.
And thank you very much for volunteering, and be in touch so we can talk just a little bit about your experience on that plan.
Great. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Carol. All right, great. All right, so quickly as we wind up for the day, let's just go ahead and do a couple of things here. Let's go ahead and get her the lower one, right, which is the full main hold tray. And full main hold tray. Yeah, Debbie, if you want the 40% off the course, the abundance course, then just shoot me a message. We have to just get that promotion put back into place or get you a coupon code, and we'll do that right after class. But just email me so I can make sure that you absolutely get it, and we'll just go from there. Okay, did the wrong thing. We want to add her here, and then we want to name the playlist. So this is going to be Carol, and this is going to be kidney, bladder, wellness. Now she has this, so she, not this one, but let's go ahead, we'll send this. Now the other one, she has it, but just imagine it's a client. You could actually go to that quick zap tray and you could do the same thing. So let me just add her again here. So we're going to add to export, and then we're going to name that playlist. And so this will be solfeggio, run one time in the morning or something like that. You could let her know solfeggio Nogier. The cool thing is that now you can name this playlist before you send it to the client, and then the client will see that when they go to import, they'll see that there's two playlists, so you can explain what the difference is in each one. All right, so we've been over kidney and bladder wellness for today. I really appreciate you being here and being part of our Genius community. Check out my YouTube channel under Ariel Policano on YouTube, where all of our live streams go to. We're going to have more free programs and videos coming up. So I hope to see you soon. I'll see you next Tuesday for blood sugar and weight loss. Take care, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye for now.